Good morning. Happy Tuesday. Almost end of the school year. Yes, today is their last full day. They have a half a day tomorrow. Then they're out for summer vacay. Yes. So, I was talking to Caleb this morning on the way to school, and he brought up a very interesting subject. And he said, Mama, you really need to talk about this. And then, last week, it was brought to my attention by an old dear friend that used to be, used to be a teacher at a school one of my children went to, two of my boys went to. Anyway, I have to deal with bullying. And I thought it was an interesting topic. Everybody in some way, shape, or form has dealt with it. Either by seeing it, knowing someone that's dealt with it, or you dealt with it personally. And I think it's a good topic. Because I don't put up with it. And I am very surprised I haven't ended up behind bars because of it. Now, in my opinion, I ain't no doctor, I ain't no psychologist or nothing, so I don't really know. But what I've seen and what I know personally, bullies come from being bullied. Either by other kids or by their parents, siblings, having a bad home life. You know, they come to school and they got to take all that out on someone else. Now, I've had to deal with it quite a few times in my life with my two oldest boys, my oldest grandson, Caleb. And he looked at me this morning and he's like, well, did Sissy, Stacy, ever get bullied? I'm like, oh, Sissy hit back. Ain't nobody gonna bully her. My boys, though, they didn't want to get in trouble. And, anyway. It's a sensitive subject, but I'm going to take this time to speak with you about it. I would safely say maybe 15 years ago. Now, we've been in Lucama for 16 years, so 16 years ago. We lived, and you know what? Sorry if I get in trouble for this, but everything I'm getting ready to say is public knowledge, so I should. We lived in Edgecombe County. My boys went to Princeville Montessori School. Don't get me wrong. It's probably a great school for a lot of the kids. But I'm speaking about my oldest boy. Specifically, he got bullied a lot at that school. Bully means he got hit, he got punched, he was isolated, he got things thrown at him. He would come home with marks all over him. And then it got to the point where he stopped telling me. He would tell his sister. And then she would come and tell me. Because he wanted help. But see, what he didn't know was I was doing my best. I went to that school. Confronted the teacher. At one specific time, I even walked in the classroom. And I said, Jacob got punched in the stomach. Did anybody see that? The whole entire classroom raised their hand, except for the boy who did it. Everybody said, we saw it. Jacob was walking across the room, and the boy stood up and punched him in the stomach. Everyone, except for that boy, raised their hand. The teacher looked at me and said, well, I didn't see it. Okay. But you have 20 witnesses. But because you didn't see it, teacher, you can't do nothing about it. Nope. Okay. Field day. I showed up to surprise my son. Now, I think Jacob was in 3rd and 4th grade at that school. So I can't remember what grade it was in when all this started. Field day. I went to surprise my boys. Couldn't find Jacob nowhere. He's over there. I eventually found him. His class was out doing stuff, but Jake wasn't there. Jake was over by the side of school by himself crying. Because he said in one of the games, he kept getting hit hard on purpose. None of the teachers did anything. They said it was just all part of field day. So they told him if he didn't want to play, he didn't have to because he was crying. Okay. So many incidents started happening. I went to the principal, the assistant principal, then the principal. And they all told me they can't do nothing unless the teacher reports it. I said, well, the teacher ain't doing nothing. Fine. I went to the Edgecombe County Superintendent board. I think it was the board. I called, left messages, showed up at their door. They said they couldn't do nothing unless the school reported it. And I said, they're not reporting nothing, but my child is coming home injured every day. Nothing they could do. They can't do nothing unless the principal reports it. The principal says she can't do nothing unless the teacher reports it. So, fine. Fine. Guess who became a volunteer at that school? I won't have nobody beat up on my youngins no more. Well, Nathan didn't have a problem. It was Jacob. Anyway, I started going out there a lot. And I started making complaints on a regular. Someone is going to pay attention to me and what is going on at that school. I even begged them to transfer Jacob to another class. Get him out of that one. Nope, can't do it. So, and unfortunately, it wasn't just the students that was bullying my son, because the adults there that are there to teach my son, but also protect my son, was letting this happen to him. Well, I'm fired up about it. One day I showed up. Now you have to think, I didn't just talk to the teacher once, talk to the principal once, talk to the Board of Education once. This was multiple, dozens and dozens of times. And nothing was being done. They were saying, well, this has to be done first, but this person's put it on this person. And at the same time, but anyway, my son was still getting hurt at school. So, I spent many a day sitting at that school, showing up unannounced, letting it be known I'm not tolerating it no more. And I was just recently told, I may be getting this nickname wrong, but I was recently told by an ex-employee of the facility that I was nicknamed the Mad Woman. Well, you're damn right I was mad. And I was a little crazy. I went to go have lunch with my children, because back then the security wasn't that bad in schools, you know. I just walked inside in, I wanted to go have lunch with my children. And I walked in that lunchroom and I saw my son sitting at the very end of that lunch table all by himself. And his teacher was at the very far end. Classroom was at another whole table. I said, honey, why don't you sit with your class? He said, they don't want me to. I said, why don't you sit down there with your teacher? He said, Mama, every day I sit with her and she won't talk to me. So I came and sat down and she sat at the other side of the table. Breaking point for me. I said, all right, let's finish your lunch. Walked over there and told the teacher, you know this ain't right. You know this is not right. Because you're isolating my son too. You're bullying my son too. You're letting this happen to my son. I said, I'm going to the classroom and I'm collecting his things. And we'll never come back to this school. And that's what I did. I went to Jacob's classroom. We got his things. Went to Nathan's classroom. Got him and his things. Signed them out. Told them all to go to hell. Walked right out with my children. Never returned. My parents lived here in Lucama. I've heard a lot of great things about this school. So I decided we're going to move down here. I called Mom and Dad. I'm like, we're moving in. Sorry, but we're moving in. My children need to be educated in a facility where the adults don't find it appropriate to bully kids. And, you know, as a parent, that broke my heart. It broke my heart that he went through that. But, oh, it gets better. Got them here, got them both enrolled in the elementary school. School needed their records. So they told me not to worry about it. They were going to ask for a transfer of their records. Well, after over a month, the records came. It showed that Jacob was not supposed to be in the grade he was in. That he did not. I'm trying to think. Okay, he was in the 4th. Yeah, 4th. And he's supposed to have been promoted to the 5th. Well, they noticed that Jake was a little behind. So when they got the records, they realized that he was promoted through this previous elementary school due to the fact that he failed all his end-of-year tests. His grade level was so minimum because he was not getting educated. Did not help that he was being bullied either. So his mind was somewhere else. they said he should not have been promoted, but they promoted him anyway. I said, yeah, because all they wanted to do was rush him through. They did not care. So, Lacoma did what they could, helped him out. But, unfortunately, the damage had been done. You know, anyway, he struggled with a lot of anxiety and depression and all that because of that. And I'm going to just say through the rumor mill, I don't have facts. Till today, there are still issues at that school. Ooh. At that school, teachers trying to help. I think I just recently read online that a teacher got arrested. I know personally of a teacher that got fired. All trying to help students. Now, when Nathan was in the middle school here, he was being bullied. Nathan had a hearing impairment. Nathan had to sit at the front of the class in every room. Had to have a speaker. He didn't like it, but he needed it. Nathan also has ADHD, so he was kind of bouncing here and there. Kids will pick on him. Didn't really bother him. Nathan always had that personality. He turned a negative into a positive. It won't until he told his sister that some boys in the bathroom pushed him behind the door and started hitting him. So, of course, I had to go to the school. I spent many a day at Springfield Middle because of Nathan. And the principal jumped right on it. No tolerance for that. So, after multiple times of him saying he's being hit, if you words, I try to teach my children words. They don't hurt you unless you let them. But when you physically lay hands on my kid, that's a no-no. We don't do that yet. So, I went there in the office at Springfield Middle. This just been a while. And I said, give me the parent's name and number. I'm going to contact them. Well, better yet, she point me in the direction of the classroom. Anyway, I couldn't go to the classroom. She said the only thing she could do is give the my name and number to the parent. And she did. Lord behold, they called me. Apologized up and down for what their kid did to my son. Swore it won't never happen. Ever again. Well, guess what? It did. The boy had someone else do it to him. So I ended up having a one-on-one talk with Nathan. Nathan was Nathan in school was a sweetheart. He saw the positive and good in everybody and everything. And finally got to his breaking point, and I said, honey, you will not get in trouble with me if you defend yourself. If you got to defend yourself from bullies, do it. I might have showed him a couple of things. His daddy showed him a couple of things. And got a call from the school. Went in there and talked to the principal. She told me what happened. Nathan beat some boy down to the floor after he was trying to beat him down. And I said, okay, what's his punishment? She said, nothing. He defended himself. And she said she's proud of him. A lot of kids that being bullied won't stand up for themselves, but Nathan did. And I think I took him out to eat that night. I do not promote bullying, but I will promote defending yourself. And that's what he did. And, you know, over the years, Nathan had to endure a lot of obstacles. And he endured, you know, the anxiety and depression, but he found ways to overcome it. You know, Jacob had it a lot worse than him in school, and Nathan found that females didn't bully. And this is just my observation. But every time special events or after school activities or things like that, when I would pick him up or drop him off, he hung out with groups of girls. And I'm like, yeah, go for it, buddy. Whatever circle you feel safe in. And that's what he did. He found his safety spots. And he avoided anything that was negative. And then when my grandchildren started school, you know, Stacy called me one day and said, Mama, some boy hit Cody. I said, well, honey, you got to call that teacher now. She said, I don't know how to handle this. I said, well, come pick me up. I'll show you how to do it. I've had years of experience, unfortunately. So with Cody, the way they would line up, this little boy was always behind him, I think it was. He was always hitting Cody, walking down the line. Now, he was a kid. He was a little kid, kindergarten, I think. Yep, it was kindergarten. Because the teacher, that was her first year teaching, fresh out of daycare. And I walked up there and I said, look, Cody's getting hit a lot. Let's do something about this, okay? Nope, Cody kept coming home. This young teacher did not know what to do. And thought I was stupid. So I basically told her, unless she wants to see my face in her classroom every single day, she better move that boy out of that classroom, or she better call his mom, because something's gonna be done. Because my grandson comes home one more day with a mark on him, there's gonna be hell to pay. And I was nice a little bit about it. Daggone teacher cried. A few weeks later, she left the school. The stress of everything, I guess, got to her. But I don't care who you are. And then some boy threatening Cody, I don't know what, 4th, 5th grade, talking about he's going to bring his dad's gun to school and shoot him. Excuse me? Hell no. Stacy took care of that one. Then the next day, Stacy's at work. I'm at my job, but I'm not working. And Cody calls his mom and said, that same boy's in my class today, and I'm scared. I called the principal because Stacy's working. And she said, I cannot speak with you about this. Oh, yes, you can. No, you're not his parent. Well, let's put it this way. When his parent is not available, I'm the next thing. She said, I'm not telling you nothing. I said, I'll be right there. Went in there, asked to speak with her, got in her office, and basically said, when you don't see his mother here, or when you don't hear from her by phone, this is what you're going to see. This is the second counterpart to my daughter, to my grandson. Why in the hell is that boy who threatened to kill my grandson still in his classroom? Well, we can't tell you nothing about the other student. I said, okay, fine. Why is my grandson still in the classroom with a boy that threatened to bring a gun to school? Well, we're looking into it. I'm like, you better do it before I leave. You want me to call the police myself? She said, so-and-so's already been notified, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, the boy threatened my grandson's life with a gun. Whether he meant it or not, it's still a threat. My grandson is scared. So this is what you're going to either do right now. Go remove that boy from my grandson's class or go get my grandson for me. And I'm taking him home. She said it won't necessary. Really? Went right now, signed him out. Got Cody, took him to his mama. Well, after she got all words, she had a few words. Cody will not be returning to school until that boy is removed from that classroom. And let's face it, everybody really thinks that a kid's going to bring a gun to school. Really? 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 Do we want to recap our history? No, we do not. So when a threat is made, it needs to be taken seriously. I don't know what ever came of that. I don't remember. I don't think he was in that school or that classroom for long. But, you know, sometimes I have to hand the reins over to my daughter to take care of her own kids, and she has. Boy, I've seen Jackson get in her car with a bloody nose, and she stopped right in the middle of the school pickup line, got out of her car, walked right up to that school and said, what happened to my child, and why wasn't I notified? He got hit in the nose, hard enough to make his nose bleed. What happened? Some little boy was picking on Junior's older brother, Levi. Picked on him, pushed him. Junior hit him. The boy pushed Levi, and he told that boy to leave his brother alone. The boy hit him in the face. So Junior smacked him. And they said they were unaware of his bloody nose until he was walking out to get in the car. So trust me when I say that Stacy can take care of her own. And I'm glad. Unfortunately, she shouldn't have to deal with bullying. Bullying should not be in school or anywhere, but it is. So you, as a parent, you have to deal with it the best you can, the best you know how. Protect your kids. Because at the end of the day, we are leaving our babies with these adults to not only educate them, but to protect them. And some teachers just don't get it. And Caleb had to endure bullying also. He kept telling me one of his friends, this was 3rd grade, one of his friends kept punching him in the stomach. He said he wanted to see how strong he was. Oh, this just scared the crap out of me. Landed on me. Anyway, he wanted to see how strong he was, so he kept punching Caleb in the stomach. And I explained to Caleb, that is not a friend. He said, well, I don't want to get him in trouble. I'm like, well, I don't want him to keep hitting you. He said, well, it don't hurt that bad. It took a little bit to convince Caleb that friends don't hurt each other. Because Caleb just wants to make everybody happy. So after multiple times of laying hands on my kid, and me telling Caleb stay away from this boy, contacted the school multiple times, spoke with his teacher multiple times, had the kid removed. I wanted him removed from the class, but he was moved to the other side of the classroom. They were not allowed to sit together at lunch, and they were not allowed to stand in line together. But when the boys went to the bathroom, you know what happened. He even witnessed this boy beating up another boy. So I finally got it to the point with the school that something was going on with that child. And it was being investigated. And at the end of the day, that child got the help he needed. I haven't heard anything since. But he was removed from the school itself. And that's what I'm saying. Bullies, they're made. They're not born. I can't express enough what it does to a child to be abused physically or mentally, to be put down, to feel worthless. Because the way you treat your child, or the way others treat your child, they're going to grow up one or two ways. They're going to grow up just how they were talked to, how they were treated. They also become bullies. Or two, they are mentally broken and they break down. Very few survive it mentally. And Jacob, as I said yesterday, has achieved a lot. He's overcome a lot. Very proud of him. But boy, if he gets a little dark circle on his body, Mom, I think it's cancer. That's how far it goes. But other than that, he's great. Nathan struggled some during the pandemic. He was isolated. He was home. I think he's doing good now, as far as what he tells me. And even to this morning, I'm talking to Caleb about, you don't let kids hurt you. Your friends hurt you. I don't care if they say that they're your friend. If they lay hands on you, they're not your friend. They're telling you that so they can keep abusing you and bullying you and hurting you. And I know this video is going on way too long, but this is something that I've seen personally throughout my family. And it needs to stop. And I do know that it has gotten worse throughout the years through society, and that schools are getting stricter with it. But 15 plus years ago, they won't. I don't think they cared. And as parents or grandparents, siblings, I mean, I want to hear y'all's story. Have y'all ever had to deal with bullying? And how did you fix it? Or how did you try to fix it? Or what was your solutions? My mom always told me, from the very first day I put my first child into school, she said, you make your face known. Because if you don't make your face known at that school, they're going to probably overlook your child. But if you're there, either volunteering, showing up for every event, having good communication with the teachers, they will look at your child and remember your face. And that's what I do. It's a struggle, especially as they're getting older. Well, with Caleb. He don't like me going to school. Excuse me. But after this first year of middle school, it went good. He had no problems. The biggest problem he had was he takes his lunch. He has multiple kids sit at his table, and they want part of his lunch. He's had a kid take his cookies a couple of times. So we've came up with the solution of keep your lunchbox closed, pull one thing out at a time. And tell him no. He did that, but they kept nagging him. They wanted something. So I put little individual packs of Skittles in his lunchbox just for those kids to leave them alone. I don't want to embarrass and go have lunch with them. I mean, I don't want to embarrass them that bad. Hey, if the most aggravation he has endured this year was someone wanting a cookie from him, I'm happy. You know, and I hope it continues on that way. And, Little Junior, he's a Spitfire. He's my youngest grandson. Last week he came home, he said, Nana, these three boys kept throwing the ball at me really hard during recess. He said, and I threw the ball back at him, but it was three of them. And then he was talking to me about how Levi was out there too, and they were throwing the ball hard at him. Anyway, he said he got all three of them boys. He said, I got them good. He said, but I got in trouble. I said, well, your mama didn't get a call or nothing. He said, no, we all went in and had a talk with the principal, but or his teacher. He said, but if they kept it up, I was going to beat them down. Spitfire. He don't like nobody messing on him or his brother. And He is quick to jump on you. He's like one of them little monkeys, boy. He'll jump right on you. And not that I don't agree with that. But again, if he's defending himself in 3 against 1, please. And he's a little guy. So these schools throughout the years have really showed me what society is like, what schools are like, what... I know some teachers, I've seen them where they're so dedicated and they love all their kids. And then I've seen some who just thought it would be a good career and didn't know what they were doing. My opinion only. But I just wanted to talk about bullying today. We've all seen it in some way, shape, or form, heard about it. And there are some people that really, really, really care about these kids and would do anything for them. But then get knocked down, get fired, get arrested, get basically in some kind of trouble for going over and beyond their specific teacher duties. Being a teacher, yes, you have a handbook. Yes, you got a work schedule. But the emotional effects that come in all them different sizes in these little kids, big kids, that enter your classroom. You know, emotionless people will let that pass. I have seen firsthand with some of these teachers. They love their kids. And I really wish it was enforced in every school, everywhere. What would happen if your child got bullied in school? Something. And even till today, there's some schools that don't look at a child as a person. They look at a child as a job. They are there to teach them something. And if the kid don't learn it, oh well. And when you know a lot of kids got problems with learning. And or absorbing that information. Some kids need that one-on-one time. And you got some teachers that will take that time. Or you got teachers that just don't care. And it saddens me that they still exist. And Caleb has 6 more years of school. Grandchildren have longer. And I pray every day that my children are physically and mentally safe when they leave our care. But you can't guarantee it. So we tell our kids, defend yourself. Fight back if you have to. Won't get in trouble with us. If you get suspended, oh well. Defend yourself. Words can't hurt you. Mentally they can, but if you let it, physically defend yourself if you are being physically assaulted. I'm chain smoking, I'm sorry. But this breaks my heart, knowing that this happens all the time. And recently, an old associate of mine from A school was fired due to the fact that she was helping her students out of a very bad home life. And the school wouldn't report it. So she had family information, of course, and she contacted family members and helped those, I don't know if it was one or multiple siblings, but helped them. Because she's a parent too. And she saw that these students needed help. And so the school wouldn't do nothing about it, so she did. And she helped them by contacting other family members and having those children removed out of that situation. And she got fired. And she should have got a reward. She should have been acknowledged for putting these kids first. But her whole career got slapped because she cared. Being a teacher, not that I am one, with a certificate anyway. I'm a mom, so I'm automatically a teacher. But walking into a workplace every day and not caring, what kind of person does that? How can you do that? Wow. Now this has become a long video and I do apologize, but this is something that really needs to be addressed. And it's something that has always got under my skin. And as long as you got kids out there, elementary, middle, high school, even college, it's scary when you let your kids go out away from you, away from your view, your touch, away from you, and entrust their lives with someone else. It is scary. And that is what we do as parents when we put our kids in school. You don't sit back and let the teachers handle it, because they're not always going to handle it. They're not always going to put your child first. You always stay on alert. You always are aware of what's going on at your child's school. You always make yourself present. Could I have done anything different? I don't know. As a parent, I did what I felt I needed to do. And be given the nickname Mad Woman, please. It's kind of funny. But when you mess with a mama over her child, there's no telling what will come out. And that's with majority of all mamas. Anyway, wow, this video is taking a long time and I am so sorry for that. But it was important to Caleb for me to talk about it today, and it's important for me to talk about it. To get a lot off my chest, express my feelings, and let y'all know that it ain't right to be bullied or to bully anyone. Y'all let me know. Have y'all ever had to deal with that? Have you ever had to deal with, not only students being bullies, but teachers and adults? It's crazy. Some incidents, like Caleb, that bully, that little kid, he suffered. And I found that out afterwards. And he had to get help. And I'm glad he did. My heart broke for that kid. Even though he punched mine after the fact when I found out what was going on with him. Anyway. Bring everybody down on Tuesday. So I guess I'll try to hop up here tomorrow. Caleb said he's going to school. It's only half a day, but I thought I'd look in his eye. He's going to try and negotiate with me. So, anyway, y'all let me know what your opinion is on it. I want to read comments. I want to have feedback. I want to communicate opinions. Your opinions, my opinions. I want to. And please don't forget to like and share and comment on this video. And, anyway, Downer Tuesday. I hope you have a great rest of your day. And, I guess I'll see y'all later. Love y'all. Bye.